What is going on, Movie Meals? Movie Meals, we're a little under the weather, so we're just
Mm.
getting quick Guardians review out of the way here. Uh, Thank you, Movie Meal patrons, Kimberly and Karen. Go get some merch. It's all linked down in the description. Please, please, please go do all that stuff. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Please leave your comments. We got great videos up. Lots of great videos. I mean, videos with overreacting, videos with no humor. You know what I mean? Anyway, we Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 non-spoiler review. Let's get into it. Kyle, what were your positives of the film?
I came away really loving this movie. I thought that James Gunn gave it his all and then some in delivering a satisfying conclusion with satisfying endings of characters' arcs, of characters' journeys, not just within this movie, but throughout all three movies. But at the same time, he did not only make you feel satisfied and happy with the way that characters go throughout this movie, but he makes you feel the same pain and anguishes to a even better degree than he does in the first 1 to 2 movies. I mean, when the movie kicks off, it really kicks off, and you feel the same sort of frustration and anger that these characters are feeling throughout the whole conflict of the movie. And it felt different, but it felt really good to have that many layers and that many levels of emotions, because not only that it just gives such a great arc for within this movie, but it just makes it just goes to show how much that we've really cared about these characters and how much love James Gunn has towards these characters as well. So between that and between some of his personal, more darker tendencies from, maybe things like the Suicide Squad or like Slither, he really adds in within the movie here. And I think it still feels like Guardians, but it just has a little bit more of a director's vision within it, and I really appreciated that. So all the performances I thought were very good, especially Bradley Cooper's voice acting here. I thought it was his best stuff of the three movies. And like I said, just terrific trilogy, to say the least. And Guardians 3 for me it feels different compared to the first two movies, but it's a very good different and one that I really recommend watching.
Speaking of Slither, I saw a TikTok the other day with some one of these new movie guys or whatever,
Sure.
and they were like, James Gunn really got Marvel because of how good Scooby-Doo 1 and 2 are. And I was like, I was like, you clearly are too young for this. Kevin Feige was very open during the hiring of James Gunn that Slither was a huge reason for him getting the roles that he got.
Yeah.
Slither is great. Go check it out.
Yeah. Very good movie.
I love the first Guardians. I think the first Guardians is one of the best MCU movies. I just rewatched 1 and 2 leading up to seeing the third. I've seen the third twice now. Kyle and I met in the middle at a city, go see it in IMAX. It was phenomenal. It was awesome. But I love the first. I think the second is really, really, I know Kyle uses the term underrated. I think it is overrated. I think the problem with, and especially after rewatching it just recently, I thought it was very obvious. It's just, to me, the humor in the second undercuts every serious moment. And so the serious moments don't get a chance to breathe. And what I loved about the third one is the serious moments get chances to breathe. The humor doesn't undercut anything. It's phenomenal. I loved this third movie. I think it is Chris Pratt's best work as Star-Lord. I think it is Bradley Cooper's best work as Rocket. It's my favorite version of Groot yet. It is my I think my most favorite version of Gamora. And I'm already a big fan of Nebula. Drax went from a really funny good character in the first one to, I think, a really horrible character in the second, back to a very good character. Everybody gets their kind of arcs kind of finished off in a perfect way in this movie. At times I'm crying, at times I'm laughing. I thought James Gunn really brought this back home, and it's great. I don't even know. I thought the movie was amazing. I went in excited to see it, just to kind of see what James Gunn would do. I liked his Suicide Squad. I thought it was definitely clearly a step from the first one, but I didn't necessarily love it. I'm very curious what he's going to do with Superman after seeing this, and who's going to be the idiot character. James Gunn loves his idiot characters, not a problem, but curious to
Jimmy
do it.
Olsen.
I can see it right now. Superman will be like, "What's a fork?" Anyway, Kyle, what were your
He'll do
negatives?
good.
What were your negatives of the film?
Excuse me.
Without getting into spoilers here.
I like the action in this movie, but there were times where I just spotted, to me, what seemed like choppy editing to try to make action scenes hit a little bit more. And like I said, I did like some of the action in this movie. There was just times where it was very noticeable to me that I didn't think would really have been necessary or could have been done a bit differently, perhaps. I know James Gunn loves his needle drops. That's like one of his things when it comes to Guardians and even Suicide Squad. He probably works the script around like music that he really loves to try and get it into those movies. I just thought this one was very too apparent in doing that. Like, I think there's a fine line between adding songs to work around the movie versus like doing it one too many times over and over again. So not something that I hated about the movie, but just something that after a while I'm like, all right, I know like what he does and it's happening again. Like, I'm kind of, not over it, but it just happened too often in my opinion. But really those are what feel like nitpicks compared to otherwise, like I said, really satisfying movie all around that I think people are going to be very surprised by what happens in this movie, because I certainly was, but very, very great conclusion at the same time.
Real quick before I get into my negatives, I actually wanted to add one positive I thought of. I really loved the villain. I know it's one of the actors from the Peacemaker show. I thought he did a great job. I know I've seen some complaints that he's too yelly, but to me, for the first time in a while, it was a villain that was a little bit more, I don't even, like, it was just a better villain to me. I enjoyed him.
That's how I would put it.
Yeah, I guess a little more theatrical. To me, it's exactly what it is. I think there's a moment between the main villain and Chris Pratt that I think is just so perfect and sums up what happens with some of these villains, and they weren't loved enough by their mothers or something, I think. But it's I thought he did a great job. I don't think he's too yelly. I think it's very characteristic of somebody who thinks they're much better than everybody else in the room, that they tend to have these high-ranging emotions. I thought he was great. In terms of my nitpicks, I just had a couple issues. I didn't have any issues with the editing. I had some issues with the shots, with just some decisions with camera work. There's a few too many slow-mo shots for me. There's a couple small things at the end I don't like that I can't really say without spoiling it. A couple things that might happen to Star-Lord that I was like, do we need it to happen that way? I don't know, but they're all extreme nitpicks. The music I thought was actually, to me, this is the best since the first. I thought the music was such a perfect way thematically from start to finish of being used that I thought it really worked for me anyway. But yeah, curious what songs will be in Superman, like Take Me Away.
Well, what is it? 3 Doors Down's Kryptonite? Come on.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Come on. We know we want it.
Any other thoughts on the film, Kyle?
I'm gonna butcher his name, but I want to try and give him his props. Chikwudi Iwuji is the guy who played the villain. I'm sorry, but he was fantastic to me. I also disagree that it was too showy or too cartoonish of a performance. For me, I feel like it's easy to spot the difference between over the top acting versus reserved acting that still has gravitas and power to it, and that's just what I got from this performance. His theater background really brought a really great villain to this movie and the MCU. So I really liked it.
I think he's one of the best villains we've just had in a while. He's a villain I actually truly did not like, and I think that's really important for the story we ended up getting. I do want to say, too, there's been some serious negative backlash with James Gunn having his brother and his now wife in all of his projects. First of all, you can't start complaining about his brother now if you're not going to complain about it back in the first Guardians. He's been in every movie since. Why not? Ron Howard has been putting his parents in his movies since he started directing. People do this all the time. There's no reason to freak out about it. I thought the little bits they had in the movie were great. Nothing wrong with it. If you're one of those people, go out and touch some grass. Any other thoughts?
I agree. Right, go see this movie.
What do you think? Comment below. Let us know. Remember to like, subscribe, share. Go check out everything on the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, Mom.
See you guys.